Hi everyone, welcome to Herb Day. Today I have picked out the herb licorice root, which isn't actually an herb but a root. And no, I'm not talking about licorice candy, although you can get candy from licorice. I'm talking about the medicinal use of licorice root. All right, so I chose licorice root today because it is wintertime and it's very cold outside. And in Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine, licorice root helps to bring dampness to a dry body. So it helps bring in some moisture and it helps to relieve kind of that dryness that you get from the very cold, dry weather that we're experiencing right now. What I mostly use it for in practice is to help people manage stress. So it's really good for those people that are overworking, that they're really busy in their day and they are constantly stressed and pushed to the max because it helps support the adrenals. Now what it does is it helps modulate the cortisol that the adrenal glands are releasing. And when we have too much cortisol pumping all the time, we end up with what's called cortisol resistance, kind of like insulin resistance in a way, only with the hormone cortisol. And our cells become numb to the cortisol that's being released by the adrenals. And licorice helps the body to remember that it needs to not pump out so much cortisol and that it needs to be aware of the cortisol that's there. So it's a really good modulator. It helps modulate stress levels. It's also used and has been used for many centuries as a healer of ulcers, any kind of gastric issues. It can be used for constipation. Mildly, it does help stimulate the bowels, but mostly it's used for inflammation in the intestinal walls and the duodenal ulcers. So what they're finding about licorice root right now is that it helps combat H. pylori, which is a bacterial infection in your gut that causes ulcers. So not only does it help with inflamed tissues, but it's also antibacterial, antimicrobial. So it's really good for helping maintain good, healthy bacteria balance in your gut. It's also used for upper respiratory because it has the ability to soothe the respiratory tract where it's dry and you get that dry bronchitis cough. It will bring in moisture and help soothe that upper respiratory system. It also helps expel. It's an expellant, so it helps expel out any old yucky crud that needs to come out of your lungs. I use licorice a lot in practice, but it also needs to be used with caution. So too much licorice can be a problem. It can cause high blood pressure. What happens is it lowers your potassium levels and raises your sodium levels, which causes high blood pressure. So you don't want to do licorice for an extended period of time, which is several weeks, and you don't want to do high amounts of licorice. It should be used as a remedy cure for ulcers and high stress levels, getting those managed back to an appropriate stress response. Licorice can also be used for lowering triglycerides and abdominal fat. So it works really good for inflammation in the body. And wherever there's inflammation, your triglyceride levels will rise. So it's really good to lower triglyceride levels and help with abdominal fat. A lot of you out there are using licorice tea, and licorice tea can be a good thing when you're having some like upper respiratory things, but just use it in moderation. Remember not to stay on it for too long because extended periods of use of licorice can cause issues. Okay, you guys, that's it for licorice today. And if you think that licorice is something you're interested in trying or you have more questions about it, please feel free to comment or come in and make an appointment to come see me. Okay, hit subscribe if you haven't done that and like, and we'll see you for our next video.